According to reports from very, very well-sourced journalists, tier one journalists, I'm talking The Athletic, there is a 45 million price tag upon Kobie Mainoo. And this really is a wake-up call to people or fans who want to bury their head in the sand saying that this is just spin, this is just the media trying to whip up a frenzy, it's not really real, to show you guys that this is a real situation. Now, listen, it does, a lot of reports are saying they expect him to stay, etc., etc. But they're also saying that he doesn't want to sign a new deal. The communication with Amorim has left him somewhat puzzled. Man United were looking at accepting bids or looking in the region of 70 odd million pounds in January, and now it's as little as 45 million pounds, maybe even less. And again, don't shoot the messenger, guys. This is not just some YouTuber making it up on the internet or anything. This is The Athletic. This is, shout out Laurie Ritwell. This is Mike Critchley. These are like reliable people saying this. So if you don't like the news and you want to bury your head in the sand, that's fine. Do that over there. But for the people who do care that this could be a situation where Kobie Mainoo is unhappy or wants to leave the club and we want to discuss it, stop throwing around this narrative that it's just negative and you're just doing this. But the news is the news. If you don't like the news, that's on you. That's on you. Kobie Mainoo, it's not all well and good. It's not. That's just how it is. So yeah, there's a lot to talk about. Let me know in the comments what you lot are saying. Do you think he should stay? Do you think that he'll be fine? We need to stop talking about this. Or are you getting more and more worried? But there has been a 45 million pound asking price for Kobie Mainoo. We're going to talk about that.
All of this Kobie Mainoo stuff. If you're one of those people going, I don't believe it, it's not true, all that kind of stuff. Well, a bombshell article this morning coming from Laurie Whitwell, Mark Critchley from The Athletic, detailing the inner turmoil at Manchester United between the club, the executives, the head coach, CEOs, and Kobie Mainoo, his future, lack thereof, price tag, contract, not a new contract, maybe even actively searching for a replacement for him as well. There's going to be a lot to actually read out here, so bear with me, but it's all worth reading. So let's get straight into this. As mentioned, this came from Mark Critchley and Laurie Whitwell from The Athletic this morning. Would recommend to go and read it because it's a really long article, but it's well worth a read. So, that being Kobie Mainoo, the 20-year-old United Academy graduate, is open to leaving his boyhood club before the transfer window closes on Monday, having discussed as much with his teammates. United, meanwhile, have been considering the prospect of selling him all summer, sources say. So this isn't even a new thing. This isn't even like, the last week or so. All summer, they've been thinking, what if we were to cash in on Kobie? What would that look like? United sources critically insist they're not actively pushing Kobie Mainoo out the door, however, and staff are happy with him, albeit like all players, he has areas to improve. So Kobie's in this unique situation where he's not in the bomb squad,
He's not in that.
Rashford and Garnacho and Malacia and Sancho. He is well liked, but so they're not pushing him out like that. He's in this sort of middle ground where, someone put an offer in. People at Old Trafford do expect him to stay and remain a United player beyond next week's deadline, with the caveat that anything can happen in the final days of a transfer window. Anyone can test the resolve and put a bid in, I suppose. Now, clubs that maybe explored this include the likes of Bayern Munich, explored the possibility of a move for Kobie, but did not formalize their interest. New Bayer Leverkusen manager Erik ten Hag, remember him, would have liked to reunite with a player he championed and promoted while in charge at Old Trafford, but a deal was thought to be out of the German club's reach financially. It also continues by saying Kobie is thought to prefer moving to the continent rather than staying in the Premier League. He explored options in Germany when coming through United's academy, even though there has been interest from some closer to home. When Chelsea, this is a key thing, inquired about his availability during the last January transfer window, Stamford Bridge officials were quoted a £70 million asking price.
Good.
Now, shockingly, there is a belief United would now accept around £45 million, potentially even less as the deadline draws near. Somewhat unthinkable, you would think. Less than £45 million for Kobie Mainoo, less than we spent for the likes of, Ugarte and, less than Noni Madueke's gone for in this very same transfer window. It's insane. Now, obviously, a lot of this does centre as well around the contract that Kobie's on. Kobie Mainoo is currently paid around £20,000 a week, signed a new deal a couple of years ago. Conversations over a new extended deal are taking place over the past year and have, understandably, centred around a hike to that salary. interestingly, right now, the prospect of any new deal, according to The Athletic, looks remote. Those familiar with the situation say Kobie Mainoo currently has no intention of renewing, not interested, given his playing opportunities under Ruben Amorim. His willingness to leave was initially thought to be a bargaining position by many at the club, but it has become a possibility, if not this summer, then in a future window. So again, critically there, because I know this is something James has mentioned before, going, it's largely agent-driven, they want to get more money. Even the club are now starting to think, this might not be agent-driven. This might be just...
He doesn't want to renew.
He's not happy. And interestingly, too, a lot of people are looking at this quote as well, coming from this article, saying, aside from Carlos Baleba, Man United's summer-long search for a midfielder has focused more heavily on identifying an alternative to Bruno Fernandes, someone who would play alongside either Casemiro or Ugarte, one who would replace Kobbie Mainoo within the squad, as per Ruben Amorim's latest description of his role, because of course Ruben Amorim has kind of suggested that it's Bruno, his closest challenger is Kobbie. Kobbie's competing with Bruno. So if that part of the report is indeed accurate too, if Man United's midfielder search has been actually, we want to find someone to compete with Bruno, then logically that would probably be replacing the person who is competing with him, that being Kobbie Mainoo. So again, it's an explosive article. And like, just to echo what Flex was saying earlier on, if you don't believe, it's not to say that everything in that article is 100% gospel, but if you want to talk about sources and you want to talk about tier levels, Laurie Whitwell, The Athletic, that's as good as it's going to get in terms of fact-checking, reporting. It's quite rare that they get stuff wrong, or what they certainly don't do at The Athletic is make stuff up for clicks. There could be some other journalists and publications that do that, because that's the revenue sources to get people's attention. But The Athletic don't do it like that. So if your response to that is, I don't believe it because I don't like it, then look, I think as there, my prediction would be Kobbie stays. I think Kobbie stays. I don't think he's going to go anywhere. But to me, my biggest takeaway this morning is there are real issues there. You know what I mean? There are real issues there in terms of his future. I think all options are on the table. I think if you were a Premier League club or a European club looking for a market opportunity in the final week of the window, I would test United's resolve just to see what they say and see what Kobbie says. Because
test Kobbie's resolve, yeah,
exactly, that's what I mean. And the door seems very, very open to it all. So it's big news, and it's very real, very real.
It is. I mean, listen, sometimes you shouldn't, because you're never sure whether people's opinions are what they say it is, or whether, like people say in this new day and age, I'm old school me, but rage baiting and trying to wind you up and this, that, and the other. Because I suppose that I've been doing content long enough to know that deciphering between the two sometimes is a weird place. But I've seen tweets at me like, shout out United Tribe Room follows me. Her Flex say verbatim, as long as Ruben Amorim is here, Kobbie Mainoo will be in this position. The manager doesn't rate him. Pretty disappointed, to be honest. 20 years old, and we now want to throw him in as the answer to our best player struggling. Got to do better, he said to me. I've got to do better, because my opinion is that from the evidence that the manager has showed us, I don't select the squad. I don't have any,
Yes, come on, Flex. Yes, you do. Yeah. Yes, come on.
I don't.
Yes, you do.
I don't.
You're wearing that shirt. You're the manager. Come on.
I don't have any part of negotiations for new contracts and this, that, and the other, and wages. But I have to do better for suggesting that actually our manager doesn't rate this player. Then that was yesterday. Do you know how petty I've just been? I've just added them, same people, with the link to the article, Owen, because I'm in that mood. Because I'm saying, are you still not believing what's going on? Are you still believing that everything's fine and there's this amazing plan? And even this extra bit here, that bit here is the one, as well, I saw even Dylan, because Dylan was sort of thinking it was going to be, even he tweeted this morning, what the actual F? Because this bit is crazy. Aside from Carlos Baleba, I know you kind of touched on it already. Man United's summer-long search for a midfielder has focused more heavily on identifying an alternative to Bruno, someone who would play alongside either Casemiro or Ugarte, one who would replace Mainoo within the squad, as per Amorim's latest description of his role. So again, stop arguing with me and my opinion on how I see it, because I can see it crystal clear for what it is, and have a look at yourselves.
Well,
If you honestly think that everything is just absolutely fine because Kobie Mainoo's 20 and he's got a load to learn, it will be fine, then I don't know. I actually respect it, because that means you're looking at hardcore facts of the situation from people that there's people that have said this stuff where you're like, oh, don't believe him, dash a spin. Now it's like, it's fucking Andy Mitten, mate. It's fucking Laurie Whitwell. So what?
I mean,
are we not? Are we doing tier one when we want to believe it or not? Or tier one when we don't? What are we doing?
I mean, look again. This is the great thing about this is the great thing about football fandom is everyone's got the right to their opinion, and we can debate and we can argue. I love the phrase "do better" because that is hilarious. Because basically, you know, I have a different opinion to you that I don't like.
Make sure you change yours.
Do better. Yeah. Do better. Agree with me. agree with me.
Right, it's just mad.
And I mean, I had the same thing yesterday. This is kind of diverting from the Kobbie thing. I had the unmitigated gall flex yesterday. To be fair, I was a bit out of line. I had the nerve to suggest that if Ruben Amorim doesn't beat Grimsby tonight, then he could be the beginning of the end for him. After finishing 15th for the Premier League in the Premiership. And that did upset people who said, how dare you? Someone said to me in response to that, come on, Owen, I forget who they were. Shout out to them in the comment section. You win some, you lose some, you draw some. That's football. I went, that's very true. We haven't fucking won any. No, so that can't be real then. That's what I'm saying. It can't be real. That's a slight issue on that one. Come on, you win some, you lose some, you draw some. And I went, yeah. Just haven't won. Just that the problem is with that one is we haven't won any. We don't win any. That's an odd one, isn't it?
It's just
you know. But this is what I said earlier on. We're back. We are so back. Yeah. If we get any news that we don't like, that's bullshit. Like now, like that thing yesterday from the transfer deal sheet was by David Ornstein. David Ornstein, who we've spent all summer going Ornstein bomber. And yesterday he wrote the thing about Kobbie, and everyone's like, David Ornstein's full of shit. Because we don't like it.
You don't like it, bro.
We will never learn. We will never, ever learn.
We don't learn. AK says, would Marcel take 5 million for Kobbie? I'm sure he wouldn't. All Elite says, Fleck read the comments before the stream started. It's not, bro, it's not even just like I've read it. It's just hours, the last maybe even 40 since this Kobbie thing was a thing. Let's be honest, it all started with Alex Crook. When Crookie said this is the thing, people decide they don't like Crookie and they don't believe him, so he's lying.